Okay, I'm here with Connor Hughes, who is heading into the PFL Europe Lightweight Tournament July 8th in Berlin. Of course, fans at home can watch that on DAZN. But Connor, how you doing, man?
I'm good, Steve. I'm good. How are you, mate?
I'm good, man. Good to talk to you again. We're in these last few days of really putting in the work before fight week. So how's everything going?
Good, you know. In the best shape of my life. Camp couldn't have gone smoother, so I'm just itching to go. To be honest.
Yeah, so you're urgent to go. What's the plan for these next few days? When are you heading out to Berlin?
So I fly Wednesday morning.
Yeah.
Um, so now, to be honest, all the hard work's done now. I'm just kind of taking over, staying sharp, and then obviously fly out on Wednesday.
Yeah, obviously it's not that long of a flight, so flying out Wednesday, there's not like a massive time difference to adjust to or anything. We just talked about this before we started, but last time we spoke was in February at the media day.
Yeah,
Obviously, everything came out a couple weeks after that, so we didn't have a whole lot of information
yeah,
about the league. You were the only lightweight there, I believe, so we didn't know the rest of the field. Has
yeah.
anything changed for you now since back then? Now you're in the PFL, you're a part of the league for the year. Everyone knows that you're in preparation for the fight. Is there anything different about you now, do you feel, compared to back then?
Yeah, well, obviously now, like we know who the other opponents are, and I can have a look at what obvious potential fights, what fights we think uh, could happen, and obviously now it's just a lot more dialed in. You know what I mean? We're focused on Dylan at the minute,
Yeah.
um, but everything's just since that media day, everything's just kind of increased. Everything's just got bigger, really. So I'm I was happy to finally see who the other opponent was. I actually thought I was going to be fighting somebody else first
Mm.
because of the layout, how they announced
Yeah.
the the tournament. I thought I was going to be fighting someone else, but finally got the news that I'll be fighting Tuke. So um, fully focused.
You obviously mentioned finding out the rest of the guys there. I think for a lot of fans in the UK, we knew the UK guys, Irish guys, but a lot of the European fighters, a lot of fans weren't too familiar with. Were you familiar with a lot of the guys in the tournament, or were some of the names new to you as well?
I knew of Tuke. Um, I'm trying to think who else was the. I didn't know. I knew about the. I knew about the. I'm trying to think of his name. The Italian guy. Is it Maxim? Maxim Radu, something like that. I knew about him. I think I watched his fight on PFL when it was in London.
Yeah.
But apart from that, mate, I didn't really know of the rest. I think I saw Chizov over in Thailand signing with Kane Musa.
Mm.
Um, but no, I didn't know much. I don't know much about the Polish guy. Um, yeah, I didn't know too much about them, to be honest. Tuke was the one I knew the most out of the lot.
Yeah, it's almost similar in the bantamweight division as well, because obviously we've got Franz Malambo and Dominic Wooding against each other
Yeah, yeah.
in the first fight as well. It's almost a similar situation for yourself and Tuke, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. To be fair, I thought that I thought he would have looked to have Lambo and Wooden in the final. To be honest, but that is a sick rematch. That I'm excited to see that.
Yeah, obviously back when we last talked, so we didn't have the complete timeline for events. It's nearly 5 months ago at this point, almost to the day when you step into the cage, actually. Is this the timeline you kind of envisioned for yourself when you signed with the PFL? Or in an ideal world, do you think you would have made that PFL debut sooner?
Well, I was actually looking on before I got the fight in March. I was looking on actually getting on the prelims for the Newcastle card.
Hmm.
Um, so we were trying to get on that, but I think the two lightweights that were on it they actually turned me down. So they ended up just taking the spot. Um, but yeah, since that it has it's it's pretty much now it's all focused on it's all eyes on me now. You know what I mean? And I did want to get out there in Newcastle, but at the same time it was kind of good for me to sit back take it all in without actually having to fight or do a weight cut or any of them things. It was actually nice for me to sit back and take in all the energy from the show. So, but in terms of me, yeah, the 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 time frame, to be honest, this is quite a bit of a break for me.
Yeah.
I'm usually fighting back to back to back. So, I think I've had 7 pro fights in less than 2 years.
Yeah.
Which is a lot. So, I'm kind of used to the activity, but I've I think the little gap has done me a world of good, to be honest.
Yeah. You notice like the body kind of recharging a little bit in that break?
Yeah,
Yeah.
body recharging, and I'm just trying to learn and get better.
Yeah.
Like every fight, I want to show that I'm improving everywhere. And the longer period of time, as I've focused a lot more on certain areas of my game, and that's going to show on July 8th.
Yeah. Obviously you mentioned the fight that you were able to take in March with UKFC. How did that opportunity come about? Were PFL, obviously you said they couldn't get you on the Newcastle card, but were they keen for you to kind of look at something else in the meantime? Or
Yeah, so
was that an opportunity that came to you and then you kind of took it to them?
no, they actually. So I first spoke to PFL when I was 5-0.
Yeah.
I think the original plan was to put me into the Challenger Series and maybe see how I get on there. Uh, but then he came back to me manager like 2 weeks later and was like, "We actually want to put." They actually wanted to put me in the Europe League, but they want me to be 7-0. So, and the time frame they gave me that in, I think that was around about the September, I think, of last year,
Yeah.
just after September. Um, and they wanted me to get 2 fights in between then and March
Yeah.
because they thought March the lightweight would have started, but ended up being July. So when we got told that they won't be able to get me onto the March card to have my 7th fight, uh, we just jumped onto the UKFC show and got it done. Basically, got what they asked.
It's kind of a crazy thing, right? Like them coming to you last year, say, "Hey, we want you next year, but we want you to have 2 fights in the meantime."
Yeah, yeah,
That
yeah,
doesn't sound like something that would be too common.
yeah. They wanted, so you know,
Yeah,
uh, the I knew the opportunity was coming. Like I knew they were
yeah.
interested, and I've been working so hard to get to a platform like that. I was just like, okay, Sam, the manager told me, and he said the same. He was like, I get it's a lot. You got to cut weight twice again. You got to fight twice again just to get where you want to go. But this is what I'm here for at the end of the day, and I love what I do. So I actually enjoy the fight, and um, I got what I wanted from it.
Yeah.
So I can't complain.
Yeah, obviously, let's talk about the fight a bit. You mentioned Tuke a couple of times, you know about him. He's a guy that's been around a little while, some fights in Bama, Bellator, Brave.
Mm-hmm.
You said you were familiar with him, but from what you knew coming in, and then in the meantime, you've had time to look at film, things like that. What are your thoughts on him?
Yeah, well, I've so I think Tuke's been a pro since 2016. I actually watched a few of Tuke's fights when he was fighting on the likes of Bama and Bellator before I'd even made my amateur debut. So I knew who Tuke was. So then when I saw him that he was in my division, I was like, interesting. But he's got his things he's good at. I'm not I'm not turning a blind eye to the stuff that he can do well. He's got a good back game. He's trained at some good places, you know what I mean? He was at SPG Ireland first. Now he's at higher level. They're a good team up in Scotland as well. But to be honest, I think Tuke is, everyone's kind of going, was Tuke the toughest opponent for you since turning pro? And he is on paper. Um,
Yeah.
but I honestly feel that I'm a bad fight for Tuke. He's a bit more known than me.
Mm.
I I would say personally, just in terms of, the platforms he's fought on and who he's trained with, etc. But um, I think I'm a dangerous fight for him, and I think I've got everything to get too cold today within 2 rounds.
Yeah, you look at his record, 5-3, never seen the judges. Is that
No,
are you kind of looking for a bit of a scrap in there? Is that the kind of fight you're expecting? Quite wild, quite, you think there's going to be a
I,
finish in this one?
I mean, I don't think, if I'm honest, I don't think Tuke likes a wild fight. If I'm honest, I don't think he wants to be in the firing line trading shots with anyone. To be honest,
Mm.
let alone me. Um, not saying like, of course he's going to strike with me. I think he's going to look to stay on the outside and try and catch me with kicks. But um, for me, this is going to be calculated, smart work, and I'm going to show me level with this. This is a fight for me where I can really show what I'm about. I can take out a good name and I can make a statement on me debut performance and let people know I'm here. So um, he's tricky in some areas, of course, and I'm not expecting an easy fight. But how I'm feeling at the minute, the shape I'm in, how camp's gone. I just think I'm going to be way too much for him.
Yeah. Obviously, the PFL format in Europe is slightly different to that in the US. It's basically just a knockout tournament over here. You don't get the two regular season fights like you would in the US.
Yeah,
Do you think that puts more pressure on guys to go out there knowing that you don't have, the second fight to try and salvage things? So like to save things if you were to lose that first fight. Do you think that puts a bit more pressure on guys?
yeah. Obviously, it's win or go home, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it kind of raises it. Well, it raises the stakes, really, doesn't it? You haven't got that second fight to kind of redeem yourself or bring it back, and um, it I suppose it would put more pressure, but you know, from a fighter standpoint, you've not even got to think about that.
Mm.
You know what I mean. You're there to win, and I'm sure everyone in the tournament's there to win, and they want that $100,000. You know what I mean? I know I do. So definitely, I'm sure it will, but that's not my focus. My focus is going in and taking everyone out.
Yeah. Just quickly while we're talking about the league, the big story in the PFL in the last few days, Natan Schultz, Roush Manfio. I'm sure you've seen this. Basically, the league judging the fight to be unsatisfactory, pulling Schultz out the playoffs,
Yeah.
suspending both. Do you have any thoughts on that? Basically, it's almost the league saying, if we're not happy, in a sense, does does that something like that play in the mind of fighters now? Do you think?
You know what? I have heard about this. I have heard about it. I saw that they've been suspended, and I actually haven't watched that fight yet. Um, but I mean, I'm gonna have to take a look at it and see what it's saying. Was it bad?
It, well, they're two best friends, and they basically went in there and had a sparring match.
Right. I
They
thought
were
that. I
they
thought that.
yeah, they weren't trying to hurt each other. Yeah.
See, it's.
The
I
cor
mean,
the
it's
cor the
it's
corners
always
were the corners weren't really giving advice. It was just yeah.
really.
Yeah.
See, it's obviously hard if you're going in there, you're fighting a teammate and a close mate and whatever. I mean, it's a hard position, but at the end of the day, you are there to fight, and it does say that in the contract, like you,
Yeah.
you have got to fight. Um, so bit of a sticky situation for them, but at the end of the day, like there is other people in the tournament who are fighting for their life and fighting for that $1 million, and if Shane Burgos has just got in now, has he?
Yeah, it was him who was the beneficiary of this. Yeah.
So you've got two people fighting, trying to get there, and two people sparring. I suppose it's not really fair on the other two if you're going to come in you're gonna keep it light and stuff. And at the end of the day, you've got to perform. Like you're getting you're getting paid to fight, you're getting paid to perform, you're getting paid to put on a show at the end of the day. Um, so I mean, they both surely knew that they were in the same division,
Hmm.
and they were both fighting for the PFL. So bit harsh, but you got to fight at the end of the day.
Yeah. Just finally, before we wrap up here, let's bring it back to your fight. July 8th, PFL Europe in Berlin. Yourself, Dylan Tuke in the cage. Give us the hard sell. What can people expect when they tune in on the zone?
From me, you're gonna see a calculated performance. You're gonna see smart work. You're gonna see a show. I'm sure Tuke's gonna bring it as well, and I'm excited for it. I think our fight could literally steal it, whether it goes the distance or it gets finished. I think it's gonna be a fight that people are gonna be talking about at the end of the night, and um, absolute fireworks, mate. I am seriously feeling and seeing a devastating finish, and I can't wait to leave me mark in there and finally arrive at the platform that I should be on,
Yeah. Yeah, definitely fight of the night potential in this one, I feel.
for
Um,
sure.
Feel free just before we finish, shout out any sponsors and where people can follow you online and see where you're up to.
Yeah, so Instagram is underscore Connor Hughes one. Twitter, C Hughes MMA. Shout out to my team, the MMA Academy, sponsors, Paradise Travel, More Cross Solicitors, Taylor Technique, Nick Santa Coaching, Charlie Mitten, my nutritionist. Could go on all day, mate, but yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to forget anyone. Yeah, thanks for taking the time, of course, Connor. Best of luck, July 8th on the zone. We'll all be watching.
Thank you,
Good luck,
mate.
man. Good to talk to you again.
Thank you, brother. See you soon.